Recently, I got my pilot's license. I'm a private pilot for a single-engine land aircraft. That's basically anything with one propeller engine that takes off and lands on land as opposed to water. Those are like hydrocraft or something. And I got into it because of my chemistry teacher in high school. He was an instructor, and he was completely fanatical about it, and he was telling all the students about it. I actually started a course in it. So I went on aviation science. It was basically like ground school, which is good because then he encouraged me, and I went to the local airport, the Morristown Airport, and I took a discovery flight for like $20 or something, and they take you up and they fly you around. But when you're in the air, they let you actually handle it, and it was pretty cool. And it was like a beautiful day when I did it, and the instructor was really nice. So I signed up right away to be on my track to getting my license, and they said it took about a year or a little more. Some people take a lot longer. There's a minimum of 55 hours of flight time, and you need 25 hours instructed and 30 hours solo minimum. And then you have other restrictions, such as we need to do review time and have to do solo time, night time, flying at night, and all that stuff. So I started off, and I was doing pretty good, and my instructor was really nice. And we never really went over any of the actual physics about the flying, which is good because I kind of covered that in the high school class that my chemistry teacher was teaching. So that was really excellent. But then it was about a month and a half before I was supposed to get my license. And I was actually going off to college. I was planning to go off to college around the same time that I should have got my license. My actual instructor, he left to go somewhere else. So I got a new instructor. My new instructor took me on, and he was saying, so he started quizzing me on the stuff that I should know. And I was like, I don't know any of this. He's like, don't you know any of this? And I said, no. He's like, well, you're supposed to have learned the ground school material, like every lesson. He expected that my old instructor had said, like, learn this chapter for then. And I hadn't done any of that, and I had to take a written test on all the theory behind the flying, because that's the complete prerequisite to any part of getting your license. So I had to completely cram for that in a week. And luckily I passed the written test. I got an 82. You had to get a 70 or above to pass. 82 is nothing to be proud of, actually. It's a pretty easy test, but my 82 is fine with me. And so then I had to go, and then it turned out that I had to do extra flying time because they changed the regulations on getting your license it was a week before I was going to get my license. So it turned out I had to do 5 hours extra of flying. So I couldn't get that all in before I went off to college. So then I tried to come back on the weekends to keep flying with my instructor to get the extra time in. It was a really hassle, and that took another 5 months afterwards. So I finally got all my requirements done. I flew solo flights to other airports around. I had to do an extended flight for I think it was 300 total miles. I mean, you kind of worry about that your plane's just going to fall out of the sky after a while, but it never does. So that's cool. And so I got my test. I had to fly somewhere else to take my test, so I soloed over to the airport, picked up my instructor, did a little oral exam. He started asking me, shooting questions at me. I studied for that, so I passed that pretty well. And so he takes me up in the plane, and the first thing he does is he says, pretend that you just lost your radio. You can't use those anymore, directional radios. And we were on a cross-country flying towards a destination. And I was going, and I completely flipped out, and I had no idea what I was supposed to do, because I just completely blanked on that one. I was like, this is not a good way to start. Regardless, I failed the test the first time. So I had to come back. I was completely heartbroken, because no one ever fails these tests. It was just, I mean, people do. It's not like people ever look down on you like failing some other kind of test. I mean, it is a hard test. So I was very broken up about that, and I was going to throw in the towel, but then my family was like, we're not wasting all this money for you to not get your sneaking license, because all in all, it probably totals about a little over $3,000 to get your license in total. So I went back, I think it was a week later, I had to have taken another lesson in between there. There's all these like stinking regulations that don't make any sense sometimes. But I went up again, and we only had to do just the parts that I failed, so I had to do some stalls, which are nerve-wracking, and they make me sick to my stomach, and I hate really doing them, but he had me do about 8 in a row, and I was really glad that we stopped at the point because I was feeling pale and cold and not in good condition, but he says, all right, you've passed, just land the plane, and you're good, and I did, and I got my license, and so I've had it for 9 months now. Yeah, 9 months. And I haven't flown much since then, but I'm planning on going to the nearby airport here at college and getting checked out there so I can fly out of here with all my friends. Maybe we'll go to Atlantic City or something and gamble all of our money away.